What's up, JEFusion fans? This is Philip and welcome back to another video. So, right now, as I am recording, well, it's actually the same day as the debut of Kamen Rider Platinum Gotchard. So, it got me thinking. Actually, I've been thinking about making this video for a few days now because some writers, particularly the main characters, have certain power ups that would later be overshadowed by other power ups because they were lacking something. Basically, it's a power up that requires another item, basically, and then that form further evolves, creating a brand new power up kind of eclipsing the previous one, which I will get to explaining in a little bit. So, with that said, not all of these quote unquote incomplete forms are, well, berserk forms, because sometimes they kind of tend to be these berserk forms. Take, for example, Kamen Rider 01 when he used the hazard switch, um, and then he turned into, well, the hazard, you know, build. And then when he used the full bottles in conjunction with the um, hazard switch, not only did he overcome the berserk, side effect, but, well, he got a stronger form as well. Well, two, in fact. However, we're going to focus on the Reiwa Kamen Riders because, believe it or not, ever since 01, each entry in the Reiwa Era Rider series has an incomplete power up for the main character. With that said, let's talk about these power ups. So, might contain some spoilers, but, well, I have to explain how they would get it anyway. So, with that said, let's begin. So, first off, with Kamen Rider 01. Now, the first incomplete power up in this video. So, I am going to have to mention Kamen Rider 01 Shining Hopper. Yes, the Shining Hopper is actually an incomplete form, apparently. So, what's also ironic is that this is supposed to be Zero One's first major power up. He acquires the Shining Hopper Progress Key after an older type, Humagear named Was, sacrificed his own memory chip, aka his brain, to convert that into the Shining Hopper Progress Key. So it's supposed to be used against the Dodo Magia. Well, he did defeat the Dodo Magia, which was the only Magia to have evolved so much. Uh, and after that, like, not, I don't think uh, anything significant happened because, well, when the when the assault trigger was introduced, so first it was used by Kamen Rider Vulcan to, you know, to obtain the not Vulcan Wolf. I mean, the basically this the assault wolf. There we go. So it was actually first used by Isamu to transform into Kamen Rider Vulcan Assault Wolf. But later on, Aruto took the assault trigger and actually made a copy of it so he can also use one. And he used it in conjunction with the Shining Hopper Progress Key to create the Assault Shining Hopper. And when that form was introduced, well, basically the original Shining Hopper was just thrown out the window and never came back. No. So, if you are thinking of any side effects, there are actually none. So it's not a berserk form, nor does it put a strain on Aruto. I mean, he would have those kinds of forms later, but you know, in general, there aren't any side effects to those, or at least with the shining hopper, it was okay. The shining assault hopper was also okay, but yeah, when the shining assault hopper was introduced, well, sadly, we never saw uh, shining assault hopper ever again, and that's a shame. I mean, sure, I do like the visuals of Zero One's power ups in general, but the Shining Hopper, I mean, could have used a bit more screen time. So what a pity, what a waste. Anyways, moving on to Kamen Rider Saber. So we have the primitive dragon. Now, this is one of those berserk forms, and later on, so Aruto would reach out to the spirit in the book. So after doing that, he was able to create another Wonder Ride book to complement the primitive dragon, which is the elemental dragon. So, with that said, the elemental dragon became the next stage of that power up, and also, took that berserk side effect away. Uh, at least in the final battle against Storius, the primitive dragon would make again one more appearance to help out Toma. Actually, while he was unconscious, like the book just carried him, which is very nice. But yeah, when the elemental dragon came out, it had more appearances until at least, until um, the How Can Cross Saber came around. But well, it still got kind of some pretty good use out of it. So next, we are moving to Kamen Rider Revise, and we are going to talk about the Jack Revise form. Now, there is a so the rolling vice stamp actually kind of switched the more dominant personality, or rather brought the vice out. So he actually possessed Iki in that sense. Many people thought it was a berserk form, but no, it was actually just Vice kind of playing or acting. But nonetheless, when the Rolling Thunder Vice stamp came out and used with the Rolling Vice stamp, so we got Kamen Rider Revise. So yeah, so they did get Kamen Rider Revise, and again, until the Ultimate Vice stamp came out, it became the standard power up that Iki and Vice would use, actually fusing them together, uh, like Kamen Rider Double, so that uh, they were able to make good use out of both power ups. So, moving on to Kamen Rider Geats. So, interestingly, I would say Geats had two incomplete power ups, namely the Boosts Mark II and 3. Now, the Boost Mark II was basically the next step in Gates' power up scheme. He did have access to the Command Twin Buckle and the Command Sword, or the Raging Sword, rather. But when that was introduced, when the Mark II was introduced, so it became his power up. However, this was the type of power up that put a strain on Ace, so it kind of left him fatigued. So when Jean had to, uh, when Jean stepped in to help, so he gave Ace the main part, or the laser part of the laser raise riser. So with that, it was basically the power up or the step up of the Magnum. So of the Magnum buckle. So when used together, so it did offset the physical strain on Geats while actually giving extra power, making this laser boost much more powerful than just the Boost Mark II. However, at the cost of Geats not being able to use the beast form of the Mark II, which actually was an interesting uh, technique in my opinion. Yeah. However, it's not done yet. We're not yet finished with that. So later on, Ace would basically gain the power of you know the Boost Mark III. Now, if you notice, the buckle is basically the same as well the Geats 9. Well, we'll get to that in a bit. So when Ace used the Boost Mark III for the first time, so you would notice it was only half of the Desire Driver that it's taken up space. And then later on, when Geats or Ace would split that buckle into two, use both sides of the Desire Driver, he unlocks Geats 9, which is basically the final form. And I would say that Boost 3 was the Berserk form of Geats because, well, he, went a bit crazy about that. He was driven by so much rage that kind of black flames or dark red flames came out. But again, like, it was only used for what, like, couple episodes, and then when Geats 9 stepped in, so yeah. Uh, Again, that form was immediately thrown out the window. So, you know, that's what happens, I guess. It's supposed to be like a temporary form, I guess, a prelude to the actual final form. So, yeah, so these are so far some of the power ups, but hey, let's not forget Gotchard. So, well, speaking of which, come to think of it, Gotchard kind of gave me the inspiration for this video anyway, so let's talk about him as well. So, Kamen Rider Gotchard, right? So, because of the Warp Terra Gold Amalgam, so Hotaro had lost access to most of his Kemi cards, including Hopper 1, and the only one left with him was Steam Liner. However, with the help of Fugakudo, Rinne's father, so he was able to basically use what's actually considered a forbidden skill, and well, we got uh, this the 10 liner as a result. Therefore, Hotaro was able to transform into Iron Gotchard. However, as Fuga would explain it, it's basically the closest thing that Hotaro would get to becoming Amalgam himself, because it's said to fuse the human and Kemi together. So, however, because Hotaro and the 10 liner have mutual trust in each other, so they were able to access a rider form instead of a more, amalgam looking form. But you also have to, I guess, thank the Gacha driver as well for being the catalyst for that transformation. However, when the next power up came along, so the cross hopper came along, so we now use it in conjunction with a 10 liner, and now we got Platinum Gotchard. I think Platinum Gotchard looks very nice, and it could even be like final form quality, but there's still rumors about a Rainbow Gotchard that's gonna come out. I'm not sure if it is going to come out, but I've seen some scans, and leaks. So maybe this Rainbow Gotchard could be the final form for Gotchard. Who knows when it'll come out? But yeah, so far, well, I'm not gonna tell you what the Platinum Gotchard can do in order to lessen some of the spoilers, but I actually really like what it can do. So it's also again a nice looking form. I'm not sure if we're gonna get to see Iron Gotchard ever again. I think so far it's been used like 3 times, but now that Hotaro has the Platinum Gotchard, I'm pretty sure they're gonna make him use it. Oh, like all the way until at least we get an introduction for, the Rainbow Gotchard, or if there's another final form, I guess. Well, yeah. So there you go. All of the Reiwa era incomplete Kamen Rider power-ups. So tell me, so which one was your favorite? I still really like Shining Hopper. Personally, like it was really nice visually. Like sure the black was more predominant than the yellow green. But you know I'm not complaining about the visuals of the assault or shining assault hopper either. It was also good visually speaking, but yeah. I mean, Kamen Rider Saber, sure, I am very biased towards that show, but like of all the power ups, honestly, I'm still pretty much a fanboy of the Dragonic Knight. I mean, the other power ups are not bad in terms of visuals. I know, like people hate on the cross saber, but to each their own. So, yeah. Anyways, that's all for this video. If you like this, thank you so much for watching. Please do leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell so you get the latest from JEFusion. This has been Philip, and I'll see you next time.